Hello everyone, welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully you're having a great day. If you've been watching Larry's Anything Goes programming, you know that we are not only providing great financial intelligence content as much as possible by interviewing other financial professionals, professionals in the travel industry, real estate industry, etc. and so forth, but we provide various services when it comes to specific products that we sell, from anything that you would actually find on Amazon or actually at Walmart, etc. and so forth. And we are actually providing specific products due to today's current crisis and whatnot to ensure that we provide the right services and products that you need at a reasonable price when it comes to medical face masks, when it comes to hand sanitizer, and when it comes to latex gloves and things of that nature, and etc. and so forth, toilet paper, paper towels. But we have what you need. Also, family, don't forget that Larry's Anything Goes is a part of an affiliate marketing network known as Gold Standard Partners, where you have the opportunity to buy cryptocurrency and allow others to invest with you as becoming an affiliate marketing partner. And obviously, if they purchase a package with the program, you're able to make money off their package purchases and make money off of their crypto purchases and things of that nature. If you want to join, please follow the links in the description, and I'll give you a call as soon as you sign up and purchase a package, and we'll go from there. But definitely, it's all about the best way to make money moves is to have currency with one another and to ensure that currency is always being spoken of on all levels so it benefits everyone and not just one specific person. That's a lot of things that people forget about. So think about joining the program and we'll be able to go from there. But if not, either way, it's always appreciated. And thank you for watching, and hopefully you guys have a great day and continuously make money moves so you don't live broke like a fool. Take care. As you can see, with our various products, we have our financial apparel, as you see, wearing There's Anything Goes t-shirt, financial intelligence is sexy, face masks, latex gloves, things of that nature, to obviously ensure the safety of you and your family all at the same time. We want to ensure that you get the best products and see the actual products that we're actually providing for you, and giving you another view of not only the shirts and the medical masks, but actually another view of actual latex gloves and the actual hand sanitizer. Because one thing we've learned throughout this unfortunate crisis is that we have to take more precautionary measures to ensure not only the safety for ourselves, but for our families. And having a great pair of hand sanitizers, latex gloves, and medical face masks will ensure that safety. And with all that being said, hopefully you guys will check out our online store. We have the various products that you see here. With a couple of clicks, especially if you're paying via PayPal, it makes life that much easier for you to purchase our various products, especially during this unfortunate situation. You see the apparel from Larry's Anything Goes. We have the medical products when it comes to hand sanitizer, latex gloves, medical face masks, and things of that nature, and various other products. So please check out Larry's Anything Goes. Support small local businesses. We greatly appreciate it, and hopefully that you have a good day. How it goes, family? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully, you guys having a great and exceptional day. I had to go do my last live before I go back on my trip tomorrow to the good old West Coast. So, like I said, to my Los Angelinos, San Diego folks, show me some love. I will be in town, and I'm ready to get down. But anyways, at the end of the day, um, Dave Chappelle. I've grown up, talking about Dave Chappelle today. I've grown up watching this man. I remember the first time I saw Dave Chappelle, and I'm talking early to mid '90s. First time I saw Dave Chappelle was on what was it? It was actually on Home Improvement. If you're an '80s baby like me, and you remember that show with Tim Allen, Home Improvement, he was a guest on there, and I remember he was on a show with this other. He used to have a partner in crime, this other comedian. Forgot the white guy's name. He was funny too because they were on that movie Half Baked. Um, but yeah, and I remember they were on an episode of Home Improvement. I used to love watching that show as a kid. And then first time then I remember seeing him. He had a show with, like I said, his partner in crime. That show didn't work out. And then I saw him on Blue Streak. Then I saw him on Half Baked. And then, of course, seeing his stand ups growing up and all that great stuff. So I've never had nothing against Dave Chappelle. If you've been watching my channel for a minute, I love comedy. I'm going to see at least 3 to 4 comedy shows when I'm in LA. Because, LA and New York are like the comedy capitals of the United States of America. Um, so, and Atlanta too, because they have a bunch of comedy clubs. But at the end of the day, I will say with all sincerity is that I think this whole thing is getting a little outrageous now. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because yeah, there are areas where comedians can cross the line, like I remember there was this other comedian that was on a boat and he said the N word. Now I know a lot of people like to black people, all people of all races like to use the N word loosely. I don't. And when anybody even is around me using that word, they see my face, and then I have to say, and if they continue, then I have to say something about it because I'm not your in. I don't want to be your in, and I'll just leave it at that. That's just how I look now. You gonna talk how you want to talk, but don't talk like that around me. All right. Especially when you're not black either. Then you really get checked. I don't care if rappers say it. I don't care if comedians say it. Don't say it around me. And keep it simple on that note. I'm not an N. Don't want to be an N. I'm a black man, and I'll leave it at that. So, anyways, I had to make that point simple. But I've always had nothing but love and respect for Dave Chappelle. Um, from his movies. I know he got blackballed in Hollywood, and I loved how he talked about his deal with Netflix and how the fact that he likes, and look, no corporation is perfect, but I remember when he got screwed out of his television show, the Chappelle Show, and I remember when they went out of the way to try to ruin him. They said he was on drugs, and the media is great at doing the smear campaign because everybody's in each other's pockets. People want to call government corrupt. Corporate America can be as corrupt as you cannot believe, especially Hollywood, and that's one industry I don't mind talking about because I never want to work in Hollywood. So because when I even hear people from comedians, the actors and actresses have a discussion about what goes on behind the scenes on television shows and movies. I get why a lot of people don't live in LA or Atlanta or even in New York, the places where most of the movies are usually made and where you have a lot of production studios. Specifically, and Georgia is becoming number one now because of the tax advantages that corporations get for operating in Georgia. And 50 Cent's trying to turn Houston from a Hollywood perspective. He's trying to turn Houston into Atlanta, and I think that's a beautiful thing too because Texas, just like Georgia, and with Texas, there's no income state tax, and with Texas as a business owner, you're going to get more tax. The Texas government and local governments on the side of corporate America. So, but anyways, but at the end of the day, I'm I love to see comedy shows. Me going to Houston, I'll tell a little story. If you're on my social media, you see I always go to Houston a lot. It's like a second to third home for me because California is like a second home to me. But anyways, at the end of the day, I really started going to comedy shows in Houston, Texas. Now, I've been to a show here and there locally where I live at, and I've been to a show here and there, um, here and there in California. But then I started going to more comedy shows as I started traveling more. So I've seen comedy shows in Portland, Oregon, Washington, Phoenix, Arizona, Las Vegas, Nevada, Los Angeles, Riverside, California, Houston, Texas, Sugarland, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, Washington, D.C., Virginia. So I love to see a good comedy show. I love my favorite comedians are the ones that can do two things. They fall in the category of infotainment, meaning that they can not only make me laugh, but they can do a wonderful job in ensuring that I'm going to get some great information, like the late great rest in peace Paul Mooney, George Carlin, um, Richard Pryor. Rest in peace to all of them. They can make you laugh, but they can make you think, and that's why Dave Chappelle is so popular to this day. All he has to do is do shows, and he's good because he doesn't have to really be in any movies because he's been quote unquote blackballed from Hollywood. But Hollywood really sucks anyways. I remember making a video going live. The Hollywood isn't the Hollywood that I knew growing up in regards to great action packed movies. It seems like most of the movies nowadays are just catered to women and children. Is there anything wrong with that? No, but that seems to be the moneymakers for them. So that's what they're sticking with. And people who are comic book fans. I'm not into comic books. When I see a good action packed movie, I want to see a movie like a Die Hard with was it Die Hard with a Vengeance? You know what I mean? Hateful Eight. Bruce Willis, um, Samuel Jackson. Hateful Eight. Samuel Jackson, Kurt Russell. You know, Django. Samuel Jackson, Leonardo DiCaprio. Jay Fox, things of that nature. I like to see what was it? The Magnificent Seven, Denzel Washington, the Eliminator. Not the Eliminator. What the heck is that? I forgot but people know what movie I'm talking about because now Queen Latifah um, stars in the show and whatnot, starts with an E. But anyways, my point is, I grew up watching movies with masculine men taking charge and kicking butt and asking questions later. I grew up in the generation of Lethal Weapons. All four of them were on the money. All right, all four of them were on the money. Okay, and I loved every single, watching movies like that. Heck, even what was it, Goodfellas? Great, they don't make good movies like this anymore. Hollywood is terrible. Um, The Equalizer, that was the name of it. Yeah, The Equalizer, one and two. I think they're making three as well. But yeah, movies like that I love to watch. Action-packed movies and comedy movies. Friday, that was a great freaking movie. Growing up watching um what the heck was the name of that movie? But anyways, I'm not even going to go into all the movies and whatnot, but a lot of great movies. And nowadays, majority of the movies that come out are just trash. They're not the kind of things I want to see. And that's why, like, the only thing we have left, especially masculine men in 2022, going in 2023, to me is podcasts and going to a comedy show because that's the only place that's left where you can get a good show. You don't feel like you're in a PG-13 audience, and you don't see a superhero trying to save the day. Like Breaking Bad, that was a great show. The only fictitious show that I can say I like the most, I still haven't finished, was Walking Dead zombie show and Game of Thrones. Okay, those are the fictitious shows that I like. But a good show that wasn't zombies and vampires and fake superheroes. Breaking Bad, um, Sons of Anarchy, The Shield. Good action packed shows. You know, that's the stuff I like to watch. And they don't really make too many things like that. And usually, majority of the time, they're on Netflix. But even half the movies that are made, or even comedy shows that are even put on Netflix, is garbage. But I digress. But anyways, my point at the end of the day is comedy is going to die as long as they try to make it PG-13. Now, people are always going to get offended. I think I know that there's a line in comedy. People won't, but at the end of the day, everybody's going to get offended eventually. I get that. But I think that's the brilliance of it, because the beautiful thing is it's not against the law to get offended all the time. I mean, heck, people offend me all the time, but I don't lose sleep over it. You know, you just have to check people. That's all it is. But I remember Avion Crockett. I remember he was at a show and he was in Los Angeles, and this is at a time, I think this is early this year or late last year, when LA just started to really open up again, and he was putting on a good show, and because he said the B word, there was an older woman that was like, I wish you'd stop saying that. And he's like, and he said to the whole crowd, he handled it like a G, like a real gentleman, not even a gangster, like a real gentleman. He said, okay, does everybody in here have a problem with me saying the B word? They was like, no. He said, clap if you got a problem with me. He says, clap if you are okay with me saying the B word. The whole freaking place clapped. He's like, well, I think majority rules. So thank you for paying, but why don't you get out of here? And he kicked her out. I'm not mad at that, at that energy, because my mindset is, if you don't like a show, you don't go to a comedy show. You're not like when people talk about stereotypes and whatnot at a comedy show. That's what makes it funny. I've heard stereo. I remember a guy called. I'm a black dude. I remember I was on a date at a comedy show in Ontario, California, and this guy from New York, straight up like old school Italians, felt like I was talking to Andrew Dice Clay, kind of Italian guy from New York City, and he saved the show because everybody else in the show was bombing. And he's like, hey, oh, you look like you. He said to my date. He's like, hey, you look like you like black guys. She's like, he is black. What are you talking about? He looks Puerto Rican. I almost fell out the chair. I was done. I was dying laughing. All right. But to me, that's the beauty of being at a comedy show. It's okay to laugh at yourself. You can take the uptightness of life off and go in there and enjoy life. That's my mindset. But anyways, let me take care of this so I can call it a night, because I got an early flight in the morning. Um, Dave Chappelle is getting backlash, and now they're calling him anti-Semitic. It's like I said, this is they talk about people being offended too much, and just like I've seen I saw his Saturday Night Live special, because he hosted the show this previous Saturday, and I didn't see anything wrong with what he said. But it is what it is, you know. It is what it is. And the article says that thought nagged at me while watching Chappelle's widely anticipated appearance last night on Saturday Night Live, where his guest hosting stints after major electoral events have become something of a tradition. And to me, the whole freaking I actually didn't realize, because I don't pay attention to politics because I just don't care. I didn't realize now Mitch McConnell is on the chopping block, and now Mike Pence and Trump, they're going at each other because of the the midterms didn't turn out the way that they wanted it to. And I just find that to be hilarious. So Dave Chappelle was poking at that, one, but two, I didn't vote in the election because neither side was talking about my interests. So I'm not going to speak on the election because I didn't participate. I didn't care which way the pendulum was going to swing. But either way, I just thought that was funny at the end of the day. The article says, but Chappelle didn't devote much of his monologue to the midterm elections, even though news had broken early in the day that Democrats had defied expectations to likely retain control of the Senate. He spent more time talking about Kanye West and anti-Semitism. He did, and I thought he was spot on about it, because, and you see, if you see my channel, I'm not a fan of Kanye West. I might listen to some of his music, but Kanye West is about Kanye West at the end of the day. He doesn't care about me or mostly anybody else except his kids. So, and his ex-wife. So that's Kanye West. So that's what it's going to be. But at the end of the day, I think what Dave Chappelle said wasn't wrong. It was spot on. It was right about not only Kanye West and Kyrie Irving, but um, because you made the joke about, hey, Kanye West said a lot of crazy things online. Kyrie Irving shared a link online, and then they try to ruin his whole freaking career and his whole life. But anyways, he said, Dave Chappelle said, early in my career, I learned that there are two words you should never say. Chappelle noted during his opening monologue. Those words are the and Jews. He says, never heard something do good after they said that and whatnot. Um, and I guess that's considered controversial, instead of just saying Jewish and whatnot. And I'm not anti-Semitic. I don't have a problem with Jewish people. I don't have a problem with anybody. Only people I can't stand is jerks. So whatever race or religion you are, if you're a good person, you're good in my book. So I grew. The beautiful thing about growing up in the DMV area on the Northern Virginia side, I grew up around everybody. So I got nothing but love for people that got love for me. So if you get cool with me, I'm cool with you. If you're a jerk to me, I just leave you alone. It's very simple, very black and white. But anyways, Chappelle says it's already controversial. Guests, critics, including me, slammed his 2021 Netflix special, The Closer, for its homophobic and transphobic jokes. Oh yeah, I remember that. And I remember seeing that. And his best. The funny thing is about SNL, the host, I mean, the person that's in charge of things at SNL and who approved his monologue is actually of Jewish descent. Um, of a Jewish background and whatnot, who's a friend of Dave Chappelle. And then two, I remember when the closer, I remember that his best friend who passed away, I think she committed suicide, unfortunately, who was actually a transsexual, and actually was a transsexual comedian and whatnot. And he was best friends with her. And I just thought, I thought it was spot on how he talked about his issues, him going back and forth with the quote unquote LGBTQ community. But then two, the fact that he talked about his friendship with a person who meant a lot to him, and I could see the pain in his face when he talked about the fact that she passed away. She died because of dealing with all the controversy, and that's why I don't like doing drama. If you see one of my T-shirts on my website, it says specifically, "I don't do drama, I do business," because caring about what people say about you, worrying about what people how they look at you is the worst thing that anybody can do. Man, female, child, whatever. You know, like I think we can learn a lot from dogs and cats. They have a carefree mindset. Now I know we're not obviously not dogs and cats, but a lot of times I have a lot of a carefree mindset. Like a buddy of mine who's like a brother from another mother, he does a lot of overthinking. It's not wrong with that. He likes to overanalyze. Me, I don't want to overanalyze anything unless it's involving money or me getting some actual good information that's going to help me out in life. Outside of that, there's no room for overanalyzing because there's no need to. Worrying about how somebody looks at me, worry about what somebody says to me. I'm like, look, as long as you don't put your hands on me, you can say and look however you want. I don't care. Life is too short. All right. And if a couple of jokes from a comedian who's not trying to be specifically malicious towards you offend you, then I feel sorry for a lot of people because life is too short. I'm from the DMV area where I call it uptight country because of the big government and military presence. It's more of a serious area. Now, the upside to it is you have people that are doing great things to protect the United States of America. You have a lot of military bases, the hub of the federal governments in the DMV area, and you got a lot of people that are trying to preserve freedom on various different levels. Nothing wrong with that. But the downside to that can be a lot of times that people are overly serious about everything and don't really know how to enjoy life as much. Can't take a joke. Can't think outside the box. And that's why I travel so much away from that kind of atmosphere, because I like to be around people that can be a little bit laid back and that can think differently. Therefore, that my mind can grow, specifically because if I'm around the same kind of people, I'm not going to be able to grow the way I need to grow as a person. And that's another thing that people need to take into consideration. Be around people that are different than you. Be around people that don't look like you. Be around people that might speak 2 to 3 different languages and whatnot. You will learn a lot. Trust me on that one. All right, but I'll leave it at that. That's my little rant on that one. But anyway, so and the article says, because the person says Chappelle seems to think he's above criticism. For him, race seems to trump all. And I don't think Chappelle is above criticism. You can see, here's the thing: you can criticize anybody you want to, but the thing is, if you're going to try to silence comedians, then there's no point in having a free country. That's really the main reason why I'm saying making this video tonight, because I remember, even he said a couple of things about Trump. He said, "Hey, I live in a small town in Ohio. I live in quote unquote Trump country and whatnot." He's like, "So I know what it's like being on both sides of the track." He's like, but at the end of the day, the fact that he made jokes about any and everybody, because that's the thing. I remember this one guy I used to work with named Jared, and it was the movie Harold and Kumar Save the World. And the fact that that movie was like, I don't even think they're gonna ever make a movie like this again, because this was back in like this is like 2008 2009 time frame. They made fun of every single stereotype of every single race, and that's what made that movie priceless. Okay, they made fun of Asians, Middle Easterners, Hispanic people, Black people, white people, everybody. Government officials. They made fun of the president at the time, was George Bush. Okay, so yeah, I think it was around 2006, 7 time frame that movie came out. It was right before he got out of office. But that they made fun of every single person in that. I mean, every single background in that movie, even homosexuals. They made fun of everybody. They even made fun of Jewish people in that movie. Like every freaking but that's not anti-Semitic. Anti-Semitic. Like I said, look, if you've never seen it, watch Harold. If you want a good comedy movie, check out Harold and Kumar Save the World. First it was Harold and Kumar went to White Castle, and then it was Harold and Kumar Save the World. They made fun of every single person on the planet Earth for the most part. Especially that was still during the 9/11 terrorist days. Well, I'm sure we still have, obviously we still have terrorists today, but made fun of everybody. Made fun of you as from India, Native American, if you were from Pakistan, if you was Muslim, if you were Jewish, if you were black, if you were white, if you were quote unquote a redneck from the South or something. Made fun of everybody. If you were what is it, a hardcore Democrat or Republican, a hardcore they made fun of TSA. The light, but that's why I said that's why Hollywood sucks, because you can't even watch a movie like that anymore because everybody's gonna get offended. That's what makes this world not a little less fun to be around, and that's why, to me, that's why comedy podcasts are so popular nowadays, because people want to still have that inner that craving for that kind of comedy and whatnot, because you can't really see it on television shows or movies anymore. So that's why it's just one of those things when you take it into consideration. But anyways, I digress. At the end of the day, the article says, because this article is basically bashing him, it was on NPR. Article says that the modus operandi was in full display Saturday night as the monologue unfolded. Chappelle's negotiated a fine line, admitting West, now known as Ye, said things so terrible that even Adidas, a company founded by brothers who were members of the Nazi Party in 1930s, was offended. I guess the student surpassed the teacher, but at the same time, the comic seemed to suggest that Ye's barbs with the Jewish communities controlling the media and show business, echoing classic anti-Semitic tropes, were not entirely untrue. He said, "I've been to Hollywood. It's a lot of people of the Jewish background." He cracked a joke like a lot, and like I said, it was all in pure D humor. Talked about Kyrie Irving and the Brooklyn Nets. Um, in regards to a link that he shared about a documentary. I didn't even know it was illegal to have a documentary anymore. There's so many documentaries that I can't stand to watch and whatnot. So it's a crazy thing. I just don't watch it, you know. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, you should watch Dave Chappelle, what he said, because the main reason why I made this live tonight is because I believe that um, comedy will be dead in this country if comedians are not allowed to be comedians. And you're talking about somebody who's not a comedian, but I believe comedy will be dead if comedians are not allowed to be comedians and be themselves. Because the movie, to me, like I said, I get it. You have a younger generation coming up. The movie industry, to me, for the most part, is terrible. I'm just gonna keep it real. I know Wakanda Forever is coming out. I don't care about movies like that. I only watched the Black Panther movie, first one time. Okay, everybody I know is watching the movie a bunch of times. Majority of the new movies that come out is 1,000 times, and I'll keep saying it. They suck. They are terrible. Within the last 5 years, they've been garbage. 90% of what is made for television shows and movies is garbage. Okay, point blank and period. I cannot put. There's only like one TV show I actually like watching nowadays, and majority of the movies are terrible. The last good movie I saw was Bullet Train. I will say that, with Brad Pitt and whatnot. It was the last, and it was just because it was a good action packed / comedy movie and whatnot, and it didn't have the taint uh the taint smell and whatnot of millennial nonsense. And I'm a millennial, and even I'm like, look, sometimes people just, or Gen Z nonsense. And I got nothing against Gen Z, but I'm just like, look, sometimes I like to hear grown men cuss. Sometimes I like to see grown men look like they are about their business and they not to be messed with and whatnot, and not be a fictitious superhero. 'Cause that's the problem today. Too many people want to live in fantasy land, and they're scared to live in reality. So I'll leave it at that. All right. But anyways, I got a long day tomorrow, so let me know what you think about Chappelle's SNL skit. I thought it was good. I had no issues with it. Like I said, people like him, people like Godfrey, they're keeping comedy alive, and all the other comedians that don't mind to, test the waters and get their material going. Like, great example, Kevin Hart. I'm not mad at him, but because he's in a different space in life right now, his comedy has completely changed. It's nothing like it used to be. Is there anything wrong with that? No. But you have to grow and do what you have to do. He's grown into something else. But we live in an era where we still need raw comedy. We still live in an era where we need rawness and people that are willing to take chances and whatnot. Because a life without taking chances is a life not worth living. You know, I can't put it any other way on that one. All right, it's not a life worth living, and if that's the way the world is going to be, then I think the world is going to become more and more of a boring place. Real talk. So I'll leave it at that. So on that note, family, do the great 3 free things. Like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day. As always say, make money move so you're going to live broad like a fool. If you're a stock market investor, crypto investor, individual retirement account investor, don't forget to sign up with Stash, WEBULL, Acorns, Crypto.com, and all those platforms. You'll be able to make some money with WEBULL specifically. You'll be able to make get up to 12 to 14 free stocks. So get those free stocks and go from there. All right. On that note, family, I'm out. And hopefully you guys keep doing what you got to do. And if you ever come across any haters that want to say nonsense behind your back, you go at them old school style like Louis Gossett Jr. did.
No different than anyone else. No different than anyone else.
You really believe that nonsense you're saying? Look at me when I talk to you.
And that's how sometimes you got to, go at people when they come at you with nonsense and whatnot. And as good old Mr. Booker T would say from WWE, WWF days, WCW.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
All right, family, I'm out. Take care, and I'll see you guys when I get back from the good old West Coast.
Now.